it is my very real pleasure to introduce Dr. Farouk Dey, Vice Provost for Integrative Learning and Life Design. Dr. Dey is an incredible ally to our student and a thought leader around the world. In 2018, Farouk introduced a new philosophy to the Johns Hopkins community called life design. Rather than students planning careers on little information, instead, students get to explore their curiosities, experiment with ideas, and grow their networks. Since then, he and his team have achieved record growth in career engagement, satisfaction and outcomes. They've raised funds for student experiential learning outside of the classroom. They've scaled alumni mentoring and corporate recruiting and opened the Imagine Center for Integrative Learning and Life Design on the north side of the Homewood campus. Again, it's my very real pleasure and just so excited to welcome to the stage. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Dey.
Thank you, sir. I teach people how to design their lives. I teach people how to design their lives for a living. At least that's what I tell my Uber and Lyft drivers when they pick me up. And when I say that, I hear all the most incredible stories about why they choose to do this either part-time or full-time and what their life aspirations are. And what I hear from them are themes, common themes of what is most important to them. These are the top three that I learned from them. Is that a lot of them are doing this and are pursuing careers for the sake of compensation, but they care a lot about flexibility and work-life balance. Turns out that these are the top three factors that employees look for based on the most recent survey by LinkedIn. But there is one more thing that is not mentioned in that survey that I hear about over and over from my Lyft drivers. And it is fulfillment and excitement about what one does. This is a Lyft driver in Washington, D.C. If you take one down there, or if you're from there, you might have taken a ride with him. I think it's called Disco Cab or something like this. And during the holidays, whatever your holiday, he'll go full force in that. He has a YouTube channel. I think you can follow him on TikTok. And I rode with him when I was really late to catch a train. And he really, he helped me deal with the stress of being late quite a bit. So as soon as I entered, it was full on music, ho, 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 and lots of excitement. And that's how he manages to find meaning in the work that he does. Or meet Mr. Han, another Lyft driver here in Baltimore, who is a former US vet turned architect and designer. And as he was driving me around the city, he was showing me all the buildings he's worked on with other teams to design. And after he retired, he got a license plate that he titled Service, because he truly cared about service. And that's what he really wanted to do. And he used Lyft driving to do that, not for the money, but really for the fun and for the excitement and for being in service for others. It was one of the more memorable journeys that I've taken with a Lyft driver. If you take Lyft, by the way, this is not endorsement for Lyft, it's just the one that I take the most. What I've learned from all of these Lyft drivers is that they're all chasing fulfillment and chasing meaning in their careers. And what I've learned is that you don't find it with the traditional methods that you might have learned throughout your entire life. You don't try to fit yourself in exactly perfectly in the way that you think society wants you to be. Imagine it to look a little bit like this, you know, like the old widower putting balloons up on a house, headed for a different destination, and seeing what happens, you know, taking all the risk that is involved in that. You see, throughout your entire lives, you have been taught for you to find your passion. What is your passion? And try to find that. But the truth is that this is the most incredibly stressful question that you shouldn't have to ask. What is your passion? For that passion is for you to construct, to design, to build, not to find. Let me share a little bit more about that. The best way to find your passion is to start first by getting insanely curious. What are you most curious about is the question you should be asking yourself as a first-year student here at the university, not what am I passionate about or what do I want to do with my life. So let's play a little game here. Pretend or imagine that in the next 5 years, nothing will change in your life and you will stay the course. Whatever course you're on now, you will stay on it. And try to think for a quick second what the outcome will be. Where will you be in the next 4 to 5 years? Most likely you can predict with great accuracy if nothing changes where you will be. There is very little uncertainty, there's more comfort, less anxiety, less stress, but also less of those butterflies in your stomach, you know, in your gut, that feeling of excitement that maybe many of us really long for. Now let's think of plan B. What would happen if you had a curveball in that journey throughout the next 4 to 5 years? Where do you think your life will be in the next 4 or 5 years if you stayed the course, but something outside of your sphere of influence changes that course? That sometimes can be a tragedy. Sometimes it can be something really exciting. It could be a sickness. It could be a death of a close family member or a close friend. Or it could be a happy event. You could meet someone here at the university, and you could come up with a great idea that you decide to pursue. If you had a curveball, maybe you take a class that just changes your life. Maybe you fail a class, and that'll change your life, and it'll move you in a different direction. Now you have a little bit less certainty about the future, but probably more anxiety, but more excitement about it. Now let's think about Plan X. What would it look like if you pursued Plan X, which is your wildest and craziest idea that's in your gut that maybe you haven't verbalized before, or you have. Maybe you're afraid that people won't take you seriously, or will think that you are crazy for thinking even that. What would happen if you actually really pursued it? And you took the greater risk to do it. Similar to the old widower who put balloons up in the house and decided to just go. What would happen if you made your most audacious move? The truth is that in 5 years, you really don't know what the outcome is. You are not sure what risks you're really taking. Will you fail? How often will you fail? Will the failure be catastrophic? There are lots of questions about what will happen, but one thing is for sure, is that you will reach a certain level of excitement about this future direction that could literally change the rest of your life. And that is really what our conversation is today, is what would happen if you dared to fail often and failed in a spectacular way and try things out in the most exciting ways. This is really what is called life design, a methodology that we use here at Johns Hopkins University. It's the idea for you to empathize and connect with your deepest areas of curiosity, try them out, prototype them all the time, get more and more comfortable with the concept of failure, and connect with people who can help you open doors as you move forward. It is also called planned happenstance. What would happen if you just took a chance and tried things out in the craziest way, and you will really get curious, you are persistent, you're flexible, you're optimistic, and you're really taking risks. What we've learned through our work with students, and what I've learned for the last 20 years of doing this type of work, is that there are 3 profiles of highly fulfilled and highly successful people. You want to know what they are? First, they're highly curious. That is all of you. That is human beings. We come out of the womb highly curious about life, about the world. That is our nature. The problem is, do we do the other 2 things to turn that curiosity into something? So I introduce you to profile 2. These are people who try things out despite the high risks of failure. They give it a shot. They try it out. they experiment. And number three, they are highly connected. Whether they come with predetermined connections or they develop skills that allow them to build more connections and more networks. If you do these three things, you allow yourself to explore your curiosity, you try things out and you experiment, and you are highly connected, or you develop connections and relationships with your fellow students, but also with faculty, with alumni, you get mentors, you follow up with them, it makes a big difference on your life journey. So the idea here is for you to really shift how you're going to proceed in your next few years of college by constantly getting curious, trying things out, and talking with people and connecting with people, because what that will get you is knowing stuff, getting good at stuff, and knowing people. You do that by consuming content and programs and courses that will get you the know stuff. It's to experiment all the time through internships and undergraduate research and study abroad and entrepreneurship and on-campus jobs and leadership and getting involved and knowing people, not only your class and other students, but also the alumni community, the employers and companies that come and engage with us, the investors, the people who make Johns Hopkins what it is today. That is how you get to passion. You don't go and find it. It's not a scavenger hunt. College is not a scavenger hunt. You construct your passion by getting good at what you do and by connecting with people who have similar values. So this all reminds me of my most recent Lyft driver experience. This is a guy who dropped out of his job in order to pursue his full career in music. You can find him on Apple Music, and he is really putting it all out there for the world to see. So for you, this is what I wish, is that you have the bravery and the courage to fail often, and fail in spectacular ways, and try things out by pursuing your curiosity and connecting with lots of people. And as Joseph Campbell says in my most preferred quote, if the path before you is clear, you are probably on someone else's. So go on and plan and pave your own pathways. Thank you very much.